Hey guys, in this video we're going to be looking at some really quick shortcuts for multiplication of a number by 10. All right, so we're going to start off with the first one here, and I'm hoping that you guys can actually see the pattern here. So 7 times 10 is going to be 70, 20 times 10 is 200, 37 times 10 is 370. Now I'm kind of hoping that you guys can actually see the pattern here. So basically what's happening is that when you actually multiply by 10, you're simply just adding a zero to that to the number that you're multiplying by 10 with. So if we have like 651 times 10, this actually is going to equal to 6,510. So if you think about it like this, there is just a zero that's actually being added to that end there. All right, so that's for like numbers without decimal places. So what happens with numbers with decimal places? Well, let's think about it like this, right? I mean, if we think about the 7, right? So we had 7, 20, 37, and 651. And what we did there in this case was we actually just added a 0. Another way of to think about it is all of these numbers, they actually have a decimal point. Because if you think about it like this, 7 could be written as 7.0. 20 could be written as 20.0. 37 can be written as 37.0. And 651 could be written as 651.0. So when we're multiplying by 10, what's really happening is the decimal point is actually moving one spot to the right. And when it actually moves one spot to the right, what we're ending up with is 70, 200, 370, and 6,510. So let's have a look at the decimal point question where it says 2.3 times 10. So if you think about it, 2.3 times 10, because it is, you're multiplying by 10, you actually are moving the decimal point 1 unit to the right, or 1 space to the right, which means in this case you're actually going to get 23. And if you look at 0.08, and you're multiplying by 10, which means you're moving that decimal point 1 unit to the right, and so this is going to end up being 0.8. Now I have seen some students do this. They actually write the 0.8 like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. Sorry, I'm just going to write this in black color there. 0.8, which I've seen also student write this as 0.008, like I said. And again, when we really have a number, we don't really write all the zeros after the decimal. So think about it like this. When we write the number 7, we don't really write it as 7.0000. We just write it as 7. Likewise, when it comes to decimal points, we don't really need to worry about the second zero onwards. So like sometimes you might see the answer at just 0.8. But the other reason why I like to write 0.8 is because sometimes the decimal point is so tiny, sometimes people can miss it. So I like to write it as 0.8. So none of those 4 answers that I've written there is incorrect. They're all correct. But what we generally tend to write it as is this one here, or this one here, and we don't really write like 2 zeros and then a decimal point after that. So pretty much, guys, so that is the kind of like some of the small little tips and tricks when you're multiplying by 10. And I do remember, like, sometimes when I'm doing this in my class, and sometimes kids are like, oh, how do you know how to do that really fast? And I'm like, well, you just kind of move the decimal point 1 step to the right. So again, going back to place values, really important that you understand place values. When you understand place values, this tends to become a lot more easier. But that is basically it for multiplication of a number by 10. And I guess in the next video, I'm going to be going through division of a number by 10. Kind of works the similar way, but of course in maths, the beautiful thing is, it's always going to go the opposite way. So you can kind of predict what's going to happen with division, but I'll catch you on that video. Anyway, thank you for watching this one, guys.